Morning, guys. So I'm over my little funk, and I'm back out here today. And so I worked on this little guy right here, got it pretty close to where I want it. I've got a pair of pliers in there clipping that together, but I'm gonna have to drill a deal to put a bolt in there, just because the one that's in there doesn't line up like it needs to. So the outside looks good. I'll just drill a new hole and put me a bolt in there and a nut. But anyway, yeah, it turned out pretty good. I mean, once I do the body work on it, it'll look fantastic. It pulled together pretty good. This side, it never did give me much problem. It started out good and it was pretty easy. So I drilled all my holes for my hinges and everything to stay where it's going to be. I took the hinges out right now. It's sitting in there with no hinges in it, so it drops down pretty easy. I was looking at a SEMA car online. They were building it for the SEMA show, and I noticed as they were walking around the car, it was all painted, that this end of the hood was sticking up just a little bit, almost like what was going on with this one. And I thought, you know what? I bet that's a common issue until you either get those springs to where they're wore down or whatever. I bet it's a pretty common issue to have that issue. And that's a SEMA car. That was, I mean, they may have fixed it or pushed it down right before they took it into the show or whatever, but yeah, I'm not gonna sweat this anymore. I think it looks good. I did a little bit of sanding. You can see here, just on the EDP, to see any high spots and low spots. And really, this fender looks really pretty good. I've got one high spot right here that I'll tap down. The rest of it looks pretty dang good. I haven't done the outsides. I just did the upper areas. This area here, you can see I've got some high spots, a little bit of funky stuff going on here. A little high here. And then obviously the little silver spots are the highs through here. So I'll tap those down, and then we'll be ready to start shooting some primer. I'm gonna do the hood, go across it, make sure there's no high spots or low spots. I hate that hood's so beautiful. I hate to even freaking start sanding on it, but it's gotta be done. So, but yeah, everything else looks good. This is lining up good. The lower panels I put on there. So I kind of be kicking around just sanding the whole front end of this down and then epoxying it while it's on the car. But then I thought I'm still gonna have to blow it apart, still gonna have to do the inside pieces and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I haven't really figured it out yet. But today I'm going to be doing some sanding. I'm going to, trying to work on some of these little high spots and low spots and stuff. I still have to pull the front clip off anyway. And when I thought about pulling the front clip off, when I was just saying, I thought about pulling the whole thing off together, because all you have to do is pull a few bolts off, and that whole thing comes off as one unit, which makes it nice. But again, I still have to get inside there and epoxy everything and all that. So I'll probably blow it back apart, which is, just more work, but it's got to be done. So anyway, and yeah, I still got to pop the holes for the doors and the hinges to make sure they stay where they are, so then I can take them off and start working them down, and then the hood and so on and so forth. Anyway, so that's where I'm at today. I've got a mess. I need to clean some of this stuff up and get it off the floor, because I'm going to start sanding, and so there's no sense in getting sanding dust all over my tools and everything else. So all right, I'll bring you guys back when I start doing something else. See you. Hey guys, so I got everything cleaned up. Can actually move stuff around now, get some stuff done. I was going to show you real quick. I was watching the Welding Tips and Tricks guy that I'm subscribed to, and he's talking about these little MIG tabs, and they're welding holders basically, and I'll show you what it is here in a second. But you can see they hold the round pipe, They do all kinds of stuff. But here I got, you see there, it'll hold it for you. So if you want to tack it up, and there's magnets on this side, there's magnets down on that side, so you can go a different direction there. And so kind of gives you the hands-free option. Also in here, these little guys swivel, so you can put pipe in there. And I don't think I have any pipe in here to show you, but basically, yeah, you can use this to weld stuff to pipe. It's got a little adjustment here that slides that back and forth, so you can center that up. So pretty cool. I think they're, I want to say 15 bucks a piece or something like that, or 10, maybe they're 10 bucks a piece and then shipping or something. But you might check those out. You can they're made by Strong Hand Tools, and if you're interested in anything like that, it seemed like just a little convenience thing more to me than anything, because I don't know how many times I've tried to hold the part with one hand and Mig holding it with the other and trying to steady your gun and all that. So might be something that and the magnets are really strong. I mean, that's nice strength. So you could hold a lot of stuff on that. But anyway, thought I'd let you in on that little deal. It'll probably work pretty good, like something like that, if you're trying to put something like this right in the center of a piece, you know, and it'd hold it for you, so you could actually make down in your joint, or weld, whatever, TIG, whatever you want to do. So anyway, real quick on that, I thought I'd share that with you. Like I say, you can Google MIG tab, and that'll take you right to where they sell them. I bought a couple of them so I could hold pieces on each side of whatever I'm welding. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna pull this car forward a little bit and start doing some sanding. I'll bring you guys back. See you. Hey guys, so sanding has officially begun. So you can see here, I've just 180'd the E-coat. And there's kind of a debate back and forth where the E-coat should stay on or where it should be stripped down to bare metal. And you know, I mean, I'm sure, like I always say, you could ask 10 different people and get 10 different answers. Honestly, I think the safest way would be to strip it down to bare metal and to go ahead and just re-epoxy it with the epoxy that you like. That way you know that there's no rust underneath the E-coat, or they didn't touch it with their fingerprint, because of some of the previous videos I showed you on some of the panels that you could tell where somebody had touched the bare metal with their finger and it literally made their fingerprint underneath the E-coat. So that happens. There's just quality control. People don't care. Not thinking about it at the time, probably thinking about getting off work and drinking some beer, who knows what, you know, and just stuff like that. But if you can see here, just doing some block sanding. I'm using this flex block, and this is pretty much the first time I've used it, but it flexes into the contour of basically take these rods in and out, however flexible you want it to be, and it'll contour the shape of your panel. I like that better than the big flat blocks, because for me, the flat blocks, you're sanding a lot with one area, and the rest of the block is going to be hanging off. You can't, it's hard to contour it to your shape. Now some of the Dura blocks you can, but some of the just really rigid hard blocks, you can end up putting flat spots all in your panel, or at least in my experience. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, who knows, but for me this, and then I bought a whole assortment of these little foam flexi blocks. Now these things flex real nice. They've got all kinds of different shapes, and you can see there, this worked out perfect for this shape here. And as I come down, I pivot it, okay, as I'm sanding down. It gets all into your contour areas, okay. The big flatter areas, I use this and press it into that, and like I said, I can't show you with one hand, but it flexes real nice. I mean, you literally can take all those rods out and it's really flexible. And to me, I want the panel not necessarily flat, because it's not a flat panel, it's a round panel. So I want it smooth and round. But I do want to see my highs and lows, and that's what I'm after with this. And you can see here, even though this is a brand new panel, you see all these little goofy imperfections. You know, this little shadow here, just little shadow areas all over the place. Some kind of little funky thing there with a little, obviously tiny low. I mean, this is like almost non-existent, but with the 180, it's pulling it all out. There's an area right here. I don't know if you can see that, but it almost looks like a guy riding a freaking bicycle with a big wheel on the front. Here's his head, and his little body comes down on a little back wheel here. You know, I don't even know what that is, but that's just from running that block across there and pulling out that shadowy stuff. So here's where my problem areas are. We talked about this. This is low, a little bit high, low, low, high, low. So I've got this wavy area all the way down through there, this high and low. It's literally so small that you can't, I mean, you can feel it, but it's way less than a 1/16. And so I'm not going to try to take the time to work any of that out of there, because literally I could end up causing more damage and more work for myself. So ultimately that will be, I will have filler in those areas. Now we'll have to tap this down a little bit, because obviously when you go to sand that's going to keep coming back. It's never going to sand out. You're going to have to tap those highs down. Same with this deal up here. I'm going to have to tap these highs down a little bit. Otherwise, as I start blocking out, they'll keep showing up and keep showing up. But you know, your high build primer, and literally probably these are so thin, high build primer would fill that. But I'm going to put a skim coat of filler on that. And anywhere else, I've got just some little, you know, just little funky areas here and there. But for the most part, it's really straight, and I'm happy with it. And like I said, ultimately I could have just scuffed it up, blasted it with some black epoxy primer, did my body work over my epoxy primer, and then high build, and then blocked it all out. And that'll probably be what I do anyway. But I am going to go ahead and take this down to bare metal, just for the simple fact that after seeing what I saw with that panel that I had with the fingerprint under it, I don't trust it anymore, and I don't want rust to be underneath there on a fresh paint job and have an area for that to start failing in that area, because some person in Taiwan didn't take the time to clean their panel, or after, you know, before they put their EDP on it or whatever. So anyway, so for me, I'm just using this for guide coat for now. And I'm going to go over the whole front end of the car and basically use it as guide coat. And then when I find my highs, I'll tap them down a little bit, and then I'll get these set up to go ahead and start epoxy priming and get them sealed back up. And then from there, you have a window of 7 days with the epoxy primer that I use. It's SPI's epoxy primer, and if you use it within the 7 days, you don't have to scuff the primer. So these areas here, I won't even have to scuff them. I can just wipe them, because it chemically adheres to the filler. If you go over 7 days, then you have to scuff it up with 180 before you do it. So I'll probably do one panel at a time. That way I can do all the body work, prime it, and do some filler work on it, and then do my high build primer on that, and then set it aside and let it start, you know, curing out. Then I'll move to the next piece, the next piece, and the next piece, and maybe a couple of the little small pieces together, stuff like that. Hit my doors on, so on and so forth. We'll get her all in high build primer. Hopefully I can get this knocked out, you know, within, I don't know, next month or so, or I don't know. But if I stay vigilant about it and hopefully don't burn out. And sanding does suck for sure, but this is a very critical part of getting this car just right. So, all right, guys. Well, I'll let you go on that one, and I'll holler at you guys later. See you. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna start disassembling the car, the front end. The owner's coming over here in about 20 minutes. I'm gonna wait until he gets here. That way he can see what progress I've got. And then once he leaves, I'll probably go ahead and start busting this front end apart and getting stuff ready for, you know, the epoxy. I think I'm gonna do this fender. I'll do this because it's already in bare metal. I'll finish this up. I may do both fenders. I may just hang both fenders and do the inside and outsides of those. Put that hood over here on the stand and just start getting this whole front end back in black, basically. That may be what I do. I'll tell you one thing that I'm not very good at, and because I didn't do a whole lot of it, is estimating how much primer or paint you need per panel. And I bet if I Googled it, there's probably some kind of a formula or something to get you close, but I don't want to waste a bunch of epoxy, you know what I mean? So I do the fender and I mix up 6 ounces, and then it only took 4 ounces and I wasted 2 ounces. And you know, I know it probably comes with experience, but this is somewhere that I would, if you guys have any, you know, formula or something, like I said, 4 to 6 ounces per fender, you know, 8 ounces on a hood, front and back, you know, something like that gets you kind of a ballpark. Now I'd rather have a little too much than to run out and have to remix everything and have it sit and induce for another 30-45 minutes. But yeah, if there's any good formulas out there that you guys know of on that kind of thing, let me know, because I'm getting ready to do this and I don't want to waste any of that product if I can keep from it. So yeah, that'll probably be it for as far as videos go today. Like I said, I'm just going to start taking this thing apart, and I got a couple of little areas that I'm nitpicking still. This little area here sticking out a little too far, and I tried to pop back in on it a little bit with the hammer and it's not liking that. So I think once I get the fender off, I'll lay this up next to each other and see if I can't work that out a little better. But other than that, I'm done nitpicking. I think we're ready to get on with it, start sanding and doing some filler work and primer and stuff like that. So I'm kind of glad to be moving on to the next phase. So all right guys, like I said, that'll be it for me today. If you got any ideas on mixing up for, you know, different panels, how much per panel, and like a safe you know, amount would be very helpful to me. All right guys, I'll talk to you later. See ya.